We're live.
All right. Good afternoon. My name is Sean McGuire. I'm the Executive Director at the Albany County Land Bank. It's 2:33 p.m. on Wednesday, October 15th, 2025. We're calling to order a meeting of the Land Bank's Executive Committee, and we're holding this meeting remotely per New York State Open Meetings Law. This meeting is available on the Land Bank's YouTube channel for listening and viewing. Today, we have all of the officers of the Corporation Committee participating on the committee, including Charles Toohey, Sam Wells, Natisha Alexander, and Joe Seaman Graves. We also have the staff from the Land Bank joining us today, including Jason, Shelby, and myself. No one is absent today. The agenda was circulated ahead of time, contains a number of items. The first is, I just wanted to add here under the Executive Director's update, just a request to go into executive session so we can just talk about salaries before the Finance Committee. But other than that, the first item here, we normally have minutes to be approved, but because the Executive Committee is a newer form under the new bylaws, there's no minutes to be approved there. Number 3 is going to be a review and approval of the financial report, so I'm happy to go through those. Let me just find my Finance Committee packet here. I am still putting my materials with the Finance Committee. All right, I'm going to start as usual on the balance sheet here, the first page of that financial report that you all have. Everybody have a copy of that financial report to refer to?
Yep.
All right, let me know if you need something. I'll start with the balance sheet, which is the first 2 pages. So on line 39, you'll see that we have total assets of $5.7 million. That makes up our bank accounts. Those are lines 3 through 11. We have about almost $3.5 million. Oh, I'm sorry? Okay. We have almost $3.5 million across multiple operating, savings, and unrestricted accounts. I do want to note that next month we will actually show closed M&T accounts, the payroll grant and savings account that we moved over to Pioneer. We were just waiting to make sure there was no lingering transactions there that would have gotten caught up when we closed those. Those have been closed, and all of those funds have been moved over to the Pioneer Restricted Savings Account as of last week. Our accounts receivable on lines 13 through 14, we have the $250,000 from Albany County, just waiting to coordinate with the county on receipt of those funds, but the request is in. And then our other current assets, lines 15 through 30, are $1.8 million. That includes undeposited funds in transit to the bank as of September 30th. That's $12,630 on line 16. Our prepaid expenses and insurance, lines 17 through 18, we have just a little more than $20,000 there. We have grant receivables for phase 2 of the LBI grant of $121,876. That's lines 19 through 20 are our grant receivables. And then our property inventory is just under $1.7 million. That's lines 22 through 29. And then our fixed assets, lines 32 through 38, we have $161,157, and that's net of a depreciation amortization on those assets. Any questions on the asset side of the balance sheet?
No questions here.
All right. Thank you. Hearing none, I'll move down to the liability side. Starting on line 71, total liabilities are $733,000. We have accounts payable, lines 43 through 45 at $183,000. We have our deferred revenue from our LBI Phase 2 grant. That's lines 62 through 64. That's $111,000. We have a lease liability of line 61 of $157,000. And we have other current liabilities, lines 49 69, that's $548,000. Our equity, as of September 30th, lines 72 through 75, is just over $5 million, and that does include a net revenue of almost $65,000. So we're still in the positive, and that started last month, so good place to be. Any question on liabilities on the balance sheet? All right, I'll move down to the budget versus actuals. This is the profit and loss summary. I'll start with line 20. That's our total revenue. We have a total revenue of $963,000 versus a budgeted $3.4 million, and I'll explain some of those at the end there. The grant income, lines 2 through line 7, we have $792,000 versus $2.2 million budgeted for the year. We have property sale income at $64,000 versus $583,000 budgeted. Some of that is because we do book a loss on property sale income, so you're getting the net income here. We have fee income at $22,000 versus a budgeted $20,000. And then we have other revenue that's not actually budgeted at $77,000. That's line 108 through line 113, which you'll see at the bottom there. We're going to modify in the next fiscal year budget some of those line numbers because that other revenue comes at the bottom of the sheet, and we're going to move other revenue up into with all of our other revenues, and we're going to break it out between operating and non-operating revenue. Going down to operating expenditures at line 106, we're at $603,000 for the year versus $956,000 budgeted. Some of that's going to be some of the work that we still have to complete for our grant programs, but also some savings too. Payroll on line 64 through 73, all payroll expenses are at $361,000 versus our budget $601,000. Our professional services lines, lines 77 through 84, we're at $127,000 versus $227,000. Our office and rent supply lines, lines 95 through 94, that's going to be, $19,738 versus $11,500. We did add some office furniture in this year, just with the move to the space upstairs and with Shelby and Lillian and other pieces that just had to be replaced over time. We had new office chairs for the conference room, and so those are some one-time expenses that I don't expect to repeat. We do have our net operating revenue on line 107 is negative $12,131. So that's just on the operating side, not the total revenue. The non-operating expenditures, which are cost of goods sold related to our real estate, we had budgeted $2.5 million there. We're at $372,000. Some of that is just the timing of some of our renovation projects. That's line 61. Our demolition expenses, lines 38 through 40. We planned for $1.2 million in demolitions. We're at $56,000 now. Some of that, there's I think 5 right now. The team is working on the permitting processes for the demolitions, and with staff turnover, it just slowed us up there, but we're back into it. Our property maintenance lines 41 through 43, we're at $163,000 versus $225,000. I do want to note we're at a point in the land bank where we actually have 0 code violations out there open. So the team has really turned a corner on the relationship with city codes. I hear it's become a lot more positive, more phone calls and communications between our team and their team when something comes up versus getting a notice in the mail. So that's been very, very helpful. And kudos to the team for working with the city so well to get us there too. That's a drastic difference from when I got here and we were dealing with some code violations that had not been resolved and we were getting summons to court. So it's definitely a positive turn there. So on the insurance on non-operating expenditures, lines 48 through 53 related to our properties, we're at $102,000 versus $195,000. Our gross profit on line 62 is at $591,000 versus $956,000 that was budgeted. That's the end of the profit and loss. Any questions on those? I think the key takeaways for the committee is, we continue to maintain a strong liquidity and equity position here. It allows us to keep working away without having to worry too much about cash flow, spend more time on actual projects and not having to submit a constant stream of reimbursement requests to the state to keep cash flow where it is. A revenue shortfalls, we've talked about this before, that's due to delayed grants and property sales. We did send over a LBI operations grant agreement yesterday to the state, so we expect that money to be locked up, and we'll start drawing from that soon. Really, the team's been really great at effective expense control. That's everything from what we do here day to day in the office to what's happening out in the field. And then we do have some modest surplus supported by our unbudgeted reimbursements and interest income. So that interest income that we never really saw in the past, we're taking good advantage of. The only thing, and I'll let the Finance Committee know about this, but the Executive Committee, you're sort of getting a little snapshot of everything. The bank did let us know that with the interest rates, with the Fed having lowered rates, we're going to see an adjustment from 4% in our money market down to 3.5%. We did ask about any other instruments out there that we could take advantage of. There might be a couple of basis points to be earned by that, but it would affect the package they've crafted for us in terms of no fees on our checking, different lines, and no minimums. So we have a really strong position with the bank right now. So I don't see a need to make any changes on that. Any questions on the financial reports overall?
No questions here.
All right. If not, I just have a motion. Just need a motion to accept those, and a motion and a second and a vote.
I'll motion.
Second.
Joe on the motion. Do we have a second? Natisha on the second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed or any abstentions? All right. That sounds good there. Number 4, Executive Directors Update. I did want to share, let Charlie know when we had our weekly meeting that the property owner on Elk Street who had the property tax issue from the deed in lieu of foreclosure when we took the property back before we sold it, the board had taken action to resolve those taxes that were due when we took possession of that property. We resolved that, and she did give us a very nice, I did get a very nice email, and then she actually turned around and wrote us a very positive Google review about the experience. So I thought that was very nice. We didn't ask for anything like that, but it was certainly a positive piece there. The next piece is that, we updated the bylaws, and I'm just going to pull up here our committee structure, our committee members. I mean, this committee is pretty clear as to who is on it, but the other committees for the land bank, we have to take a look at and consider, who the members are on those. So with the real estate committee, that was a consolidation of the acquisition and disposition committee, the enforcement and compliance committee, and then a real estate committee that never really met there. So we do have some. Shelby, do you have I'm calling Shelby here.
Mm-hmm.
Can you pull up the list? My computer's acting a little slow here.
Okay.
But I think from the executive committee, we'd like to bring to the board just a reformed list of people that are involved in that committee. I can tell you right now, from the real estate committee, it was Charlie, Sam, Natisha, and Joe. So the 4 of you were on that. And then, I'm sorry, that's how it is now. Do you have the prior?
No, so that is how it was, because Mark used to be in the real estate, the Natisha and Mark swapped so that Mark can be in enforcement and compliance.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, I think, the goal is to keep every member of the board involved in a committee somewhere. So it does look like we do achieve that with Anthony on audit, with Dave Rowley and Juanita on governance, and I believe then we have Mark on
real estate.
Mark will be on real estate, and then the underserved communities committee. But I think with the executive committee, if anybody wants to take, I mean, you're all on that committee right now, that real estate committee. If anybody wants to take a step back and away from that, free up for one meeting, and it's just certainly helpful to, or will certainly get you the updates in this committee. But I didn't know if there was anything you want to discuss about that structure. We can certainly
I
talk
do
about
like
it.
that committee, so I'd like to stay on. That's just me.
Okay. All right, well, we can leave it as is. We'll, I think with Mark there, it does put us in a bit of a spot where we have 5, which creates a majority of the board.
But I thought Mark came up, I thought Shelby said Mark and I switched with real estate, right? Mark went on
Yeah,
and first,
so,
go ahead.
yeah, but since real estate is now, so since enforcement and compliance and acquisition and disposition and real estate are combined now under real estate, then, you and Mark are under real estate now.
Got it. I'd like to stay on.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll leave it. We'll see what we run into. How about we take that approach? Because I know Mark sometimes has some scheduling conflicts with committee meetings, and I know Joe, you may also run into some conflicts, so it might be fine to have an additional person there to jump in where we need to.
Okay, yeah, and if push came to shove, like I get Wednesday meetings are becoming a little tough for me, so I could step back. I do like that part of the of the land bank, and I'd like to continue, but happy to do what's best for the group.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think the goal is to keep you all engaged that want to be engaged, so I'll never say no to any help. So why don't we just keep everything as it is then? And then at the board meeting, we'll just do a resolution to formalize, those, or reaffirm the members of those committees.
Thank you all for staying involved. Speaking as your chair.
Of course.
All right. Any questions for me before I ask that we go into executive session to talk salaries?
I just want to keep it top of mind because it came up a few months ago now, and it's just been hanging around for me. But just and I know Susan's been working on it, but just that list of properties that may be falling out of our ability to actually enforce. I'm still very interested in knowing where we are with that. So if you could just mark it down and follow up, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah. Let's see. The real estate committee is until 3:15, so if we wrap up, I can pull that list. Susan's given me a list, so I can give you an update for sure.
Perfect. Thanks, Sean.
Quick question from me. And I know Shelby and I was working on this at one point. Where are we with the underserved community committees?
Yeah, so for the underserved communities committee, we were just collecting the zip codes on like general areas where we can collect it. So on our social media, the people that come in to kind of get a good picture of the neighborhoods that we're in contact with most. That definitely does have to be circled back, but I think, again, because of the shifts within the office with different employees going in and out, we haven't made the time to sit down and get back into that policy, but that definitely is part of our list of priorities that we're hoping to get back into this month. It's funny because I was just talking to Lynette about it this morning. So we should have an update on that hopefully next month.
And with Jason being new, I'll give you a piece that falls into that, but we're just not there. Maybe we'll do it next month. But we'd like to make an application for some brownfield funds to address some of our, to address our underserved neighborhoods because of the age of the housing stock. And we, generally know that we're going to run into asbestos and lead. And so we'd love to make the connection to, almost like a residential brownfield condition, because we do have to resolve some of those situations to be, responsible developers for our first-time home buyers and our affordable home buyers. And so we are working through that, and I think we can give that committee an update. I think that what we need from that committee is when we start doing some more outreach as we get inventory back in, is to help guide us in making sure that we are reaching into the community where we need to be, and that we're not missing people or groups or networks. I think that's the one thing when we talk about in the office, where, are we getting the message to the right people? And I think that is a critical committee for helping us guide the message.
Yeah, and also I wanted to add, throughout these last few months, we actually been talking about a library series as well, to make sure, because I remember we spoke about the education piece, so we're in the works right now to have since there's 7 branches, a 7-part series to get into those 7 different neighborhoods within libraries, so to collaborate with them and have educational meetings within those libraries. So that's also been in the work, and we'll have an update for all of you.
Why don't we schedule that, since I don't think that in November we have one of the optional committees that meet, or one of the mandatory committees that need to meet. Why don't we schedule the Underserved Communities Committee next month to get together for an update? Would that work, Natisha?
Yes, it would. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for keeping us on top of that. All right. Well, with that, I'd like to see if we could have a motion to enter executive session to discuss. I'm just getting this up here. I guess we'll say the employment history of a particular person or matters leading to the appointment, employment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of a particular person. If I have a motion to enter executive session to discuss those items.
So moved.
Second.
Natisha, do I have a second? Second from Joe. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that'll be the last item for this committee, and we don't have any action to take after this discussion, and so we'll adjourn after executive session. We'll note that in the minutes, but we're going to discontinue the live stream here,